recently had an issue with my 77 F-150 where it started kind of backfiring and popping, maybe misfiring would be a right way to describe it, but only when accelerating. It would idle great, it would cruise around like I'm doing now great, but whenever you would accelerate, it would start popping and losing power. Not like a cool back pressure popping either. This was like a embarrassing, didn't work well popping and would lose power. And so I was doing troubleshooting on it, trying to figure out what it was, and was concerning because I just had the engine rebuilt and I was hoping it wasn't like a timing issue or something more involved. But one day we went to start it and it just would not start at all. And when we opened the hood and looked, you could see that it was obvious the ignition wire for the ignition coil had fallen off the front. And so we thought, oh, maybe this is a really easy fix. We plugged it back in, but it wouldn't stay seated. There was no firm snap, and it would just immediately slide back off on its own without even touching it, even when you weren't driving. So especially when you're driving and there's extra vibrations and stuff, it would slide back off. But once we pulled it off, we also noticed there was a little bit of oil there, and these older style ignition coil canisters were oil filled, the OEM and the performance ones. This was in a performance cell branded one. But because they're oil filled, it's recommended that you don't mount them sideways because it can cause leaks and cause issues. And I've had this truck for 20 years, and this one's been on there since I got it. Who knows how long it was on there before I got it. And it's done great, even though it was mounted sideways, but it did eventually fail and leaked oil out. So I decided to replace it with an MSD one. But because you're not supposed to mount these oil canisters or oil filled ignition coil canisters sideways, I decided to go with the high vibration model that's epoxy filled. It apparently doesn't do quite as good on the heat dissipation, but from an insulation standpoint and kind of a rugged durability standpoint, it does fantastic. And so I went with the high vibration model, that way I could mount it sideways. And it was a direct plug and play replacement. Thankfully it was super easy to put in place. And I run an MSD ignition box as well, and so that wires into the front of the ignition coil. And that was really easy to replace and hook up, and I just wanted the system to be MSD throughout, even though that's not a requirement. You don't even have to run a performance ignition coil if you don't want to, but I just decided I would kind of keep it consistent with what was on the truck. And after replacing it, it immediately fired up, ran great, idled fantastic. Got the torque back that I had before, and so the truck's running great, which I'm really super happy with. I absolutely love driving this truck, and it's, for whatever reason, it's more of a head turner than my Mustang. I have a 67 Mustang Fastback as well, and I would say in general, every time I drive this truck, I get a comment on it. And I probably get double the comments on this truck than I do on the 67 Mustang Fastback. So I have a theory for why that is, but I'd be curious before I say what my opinion is, what you think. So leave it down in the comments. Why do more people comment on a 77 F-150 that's a bit beat up and got some wear and tear and definitely patina to it? Why do they comment on that versus more of a nice condition 67 Mustang Fastback? For me, this was a new type of troubleshooting for engine misfires or just poor firing, because most times when I've had issues with that, it's been consistent. Idle, revving the engine, driving normal, it's kind of misfiring all the time. Like if you have a plug wire that's bad or something shorting out on the engine, then that's going to be consistent all the time. Or even bad plugs or dirty plugs. But in this case, it was only having this issue whenever I would accelerate hard. So if you're having a similar issue where under acceleration you're getting kind of some pops, some misfires and losing power, and you run a ignition coil canister or even an aftermarket performance ignition coil canister, then take a look at that and see, at least specifically for me, I was able to just pull the ignition wire off the front and you immediately saw oil. And once I took it off, you could turn it upside down and oil would just pour out of it. So it definitely had an internal failure. where that oil was able to leak out and cause issues. So I'm thankful the performance is back. It's running great. This is a 400 cubic inch V8, if you're wondering. If you're not as familiar with cubic inches, that's roughly like a 6.5 or 6.6 liter. It's got a performance cam, which is probably one of my favorite things. It has headers as well, which makes it sound really good. But the performance cam does a really interesting thing where whenever you're out riding around, if you let it idle at like a stoplight or a gas station or a drive-thru or whatever, people that understand cams and understand what they sound like with kind of the rough, lobing idle, they will comment on it, and it's kind of a way to be like, I see you, I'm one of you, I understand this world. And so that's just kind of a fun nod to have a performance cam in a vehicle. I have one in my Mustang too, actually a even higher, beefier one in the Mustang that's easier to spot. But outside of that, it has the headers, it has the ignition system, and it's pretty much stock. Other than that, it's got good low-end torque and makes a good noise without being too distracting and disturbing. And that's pretty much all I'm looking for. I'm not trying to drive fast on these vehicles because it's not all that safe to go higher speeds on them. But low-end torque and good pull. We use this truck, it's a work truck. We use it for hauling stuff, hauling mulch, hauling sand, taking loads to the dump, whatever you need to do. And it's been something that we can kind of beat up, and it's more durable. A funny story there, we had a giant hailstorm come through years ago, and this truck was sitting in my driveway, and I also had a Toyota Highlander sitting in the driveway. And after the hailstorm, it was like a little bit smaller than baseball size hail, definitely bigger than golf ball. And after the hailstorm, the Highlander looked like a golf ball. It had dimples all over it throughout every panel on it. And the truck, you couldn't tell it had been touched. Just the metal for the fenders and the hood and the top was just, they put a lot more metal in the vehicles back then. And so it's a durable truck that can take what you throw at it, which I really appreciate and love. But also it's something that is paid for and can sit in the driveway because it's not a daily driver because it gets terrible gas mileage. But it's something fun to ride around on and cruise on a nice day or to get some work done. And so we've really loved it for that reason. And having a little bit of performance as well definitely helps and makes it fun to drive. One of the fun things about this truck is you don't see a lot of this color combo. I feel like usually trucks of this year model or around this time were more blues, real common color. Reminded me of Bigfoot growing up. In fact, what made me fall in love with these trucks is my uncle had one. It was a 79 F-Series truck, and as far as I was concerned, it was Bigfoot. And it would do the same thing. It would throw you back in the seat, which was really nice. And just good memories growing up. So I wanted to own one, but we ended up finding this one, and it's a color combo that you don't see that often. I've seen maybe 2 or 3 in the 20 plus years I've owned it. But the cool thing is, if you're familiar with Rhett, it looks identical almost to the truck that's featured on some of his album art and some of his, it's actually one of his music videos. The same color pattern, which is really neat. So I'm curious if this is content you'd like to see more of. I'd be happy to feature the 77 F-150 some more, or even the 67 Mustang Fastback. I know recently there's been a lot of new subscribers to the channel because of the Ford E-Series van HVAC issues and the video I did related to that. So I'd be happy if there's more content you would like to see like this on troubleshooting, or even just kind of walking through performance aspects of the vehicle. I'd be happy to highlight this more if it's something that you're interested in. So let me know in the comments, or give this video a thumbs up if you'd like to see more of it. And definitely subscribe, because I plan to at least feature some more troubleshooting content like this as things come up, but would be happy to do other content with the vehicle as well if that's something you're interested in.